Hey y'all, so I'm back with another video, and today I want to talk about friendships because I recently was having a conversation with my cousin who lost someone very close to him, and he was sharing that he was shocked by the amount of people who didn't call and check in on him, especially the people who he have been there for them during times where they were having suicidal thoughts or when they lost a job. Like, my cousin was always there to support them and to just be that emotional support system from them. But when it was time for him to go through this situation where he needed someone to be there for him, those people weren't around. And it made me think about how, one, him and my mom have a very similar tune, right? Where they constantly find themselves in situations where they're showing up for people, but in their time of need, no one is there. So if you have ever experienced that, if you can relate to just being the strong friend that's always there for everyone else, but no one is truly there for you, stay tuned, because I just want to share some wisdom. I feel like a lot of times we find ourselves in these situations because we are not creating the opportunity for people to show up for us, even when it's just small things, right? So for me, I'm very generous, but I'm not as generous early on in relationships as my mom and my cousins are, because that's just not my personality, right? But I am very independent and self-sufficient, and normally I don't ask people for help. If I'm being honest, sometimes asking for help can be uncomfortable. But last year I was going back home for the holidays, and I had just got out of a relationship, and normally my ex-boyfriend was the one that would pick me up and take me to the airport, right? Pick me up and drop me off from the airport. And normally if he wasn't available, I would take a Lyft or Uber. But after our relationship, I realized that I really don't like seeing a stranger right after I land back home or go to the airport. Like, I just enjoy those car rides to the airport with people that I know. So I reached out to a friend, and I asked a friend to take me to the airport, and she said yes. But the whole experience felt very weird to me because it was unusual. Like, I don't ask for help, I don't allow people to show up for me. But I realized that that's one of the places where we miss it, because we end up surrounding ourselves with people who are very selfish, because we don't ask for help, because we don't create the space and opportunity for people to show up for us. And that would be my advice to anyone who is a strong friend, who is constantly finding themselves in situations where you feel like you're there for everyone else, but no one is there for you. I encourage you to create more spaces, to create more opportunities for people to show up for you and do small favors. Don't wait until you're in a desperate need. Don't wait until you are depressed or you're really down to allow people to show up for you. Because when you're going through grieving a family member, for example, and then you realize that no one is checking in on you, that's like another sting, right? And you don't want to be in that type of situation, grieving, and then on top of that realizing that you don't have any real true friends that are supportive. So I really encourage you all to start asking for help, start asking for small favors. Like, even now, I just started my content creation journey. I'm also starting a business, and I'll ask a friend like, hey, like, can you come over and help me record this video? I just need someone to hold the camera, or I just need your help in this area. Like, start looking for small favors. Ask for a ride to the airport, ask for a ride to someone. It doesn't have to be at the airport all the time, but start to create those opportunities for people to show up and do things for you, and that will help you see who in your life is willing to allow you to inconvenience them, who in your life is willing to show up and support you. Even a lot of times, just giving you another example, even when it comes to events, right? I know, like, I'm in LA, so I'm around a lot of creative people, and just having like a listening party and like paying attention to who's showing up, having a small gathering at your house and seeing like who's showing up to be in that space with you. That's one way that you can weed out selfish people or leechers who just come into your life to take and have no intention or no capacity to pour back into you. The other thing I will say is to have clear boundaries. So this is something that I see happen with my mom because she's very generous and she is the manager of the family. She's so used to looking out for everyone else, and people take advantage of that. And one of the ways, if you're that person, one way that you can protect yourself is by having boundaries, or what I've heard someone say is like rules of engagement, which I like that phrasing better because it truly is like, this is how you engage, this is how you interact with me. So one of my rules of engagement is that like after 10 p.m. I'm not responding to texts like or calls or FaceTimes. Like say it before 10 p.m. right? So that's just one simple way you can start to have that boundary where you are not depleting yourself. And you also can see like who around you is comfortable with respecting your boundaries. And you also can protect yourself from people who just want to take and walk all over you. Another thing, I was just talking to my mom and she shared with me how she has this one person who she doesn't like to invite to parties and stuff that she's having at the house because this person always wants to leave early and they expect her to give them a ride. And I was like, then stop doing that. Like, stop giving them a ride. Like, tell them to get an Uber or take a Lyft. Like, if you don't want to give this person a ride, if they are asking you to stop what you're doing, stop hosting in the middle of your party to give them a ride, and it's exhausting for you, is something that you don't want to do, then stop. You know, sometimes we allow people to take from us and just walk over us, and they continue to do that because we never set a clear boundary and said, no, this isn't how you engage with me, this isn't how you interact with me. So don't be afraid to communicate your boundaries and set them. And to that point, I just have to give a little warning because my mom had to check me on this before. I forgot what we were talking about, but somehow I told her, I'm like, I'm setting a boundary with you. And she was like, don't set a boundary with me. Like, you set a boundary with these men. Don't set a boundary with me. And I was like, oh, wait, she's right. But also, when we talk about boundary settings, show, don't tell. So you don't have to say verbatim that like, this is one of my boundaries, this is one of my rules of engagement. You don't have to say that, but you can show people. They'll start to realize, like, if they text you late at night, they'll start to realize that you don't reply until the next day. And you're showing them without truly like telling them. Another thing is, when it comes to setting boundaries, these are things that we do early on in the relationship to protect ourselves. But you don't have to do it with everyone, right? So I'm one of those people who, if my friend calls me, I will answer the phone, even if it's just to tell them I can't talk right now, because I don't want my friends to feel like I'm ever too busy for them. So even though I have boundaries, like I don't accept phone calls while I'm working, if it is a friend that has proven themselves, who I know is really there for me, not that they've proven themselves, but that they have shown me that they're there for me, then you can be a little lenient. You don't have to be strict with everyone, and you definitely don't have to tell people that you're setting boundaries with them. You can just show them. So again, these are boundaries that we have with acquaintances, with people that we don't really know that well. But if you have a best friend, if you have someone who you have gotten to know them and you feel like they are a loyal friend, then be easy. Don't be so strict. Like, you don't have to have strict boundaries with people who have shown you that they're in your corner and they have your best interest at heart. So those are a few things that I want to share, because I feel like navigating relationships can be challenging and it really takes wisdom. And I am not a fan of cutting people off all the time, but I just feel like instead we have to be wise with how we navigate these relationships and just acknowledge that it's not our fault that we end up in these situations, but we do have to hold ourselves accountable and look at the trends in our life and see like, okay, why do I keep attracting people who are selfish, and how can I avoid surrounding myself with people who are selfish and are leechers? And these are some things that have been working for me, and I just want to share that wisdom with you all. So if you enjoyed this video, if it was helpful, definitely give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment if you have any other advice to share, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. All right, I'll see y'all in my next video.